Thank you for joining the Triumphant Magazine show, where we focus on those that are doing extraordinary things locally as well as globally. And tonight we are fortunate to have Dr. Lena Clark with us. And you will actually be seeing Dr. Lena Clark this month in our special edition of Triumphant Magazine. She is a woman indeed of worth. So we have her in there for the Women's History Month. And at this time, I would love for Dr. Lena Clark to introduce herself to our audience, please.
Yes, thank you so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it, Mrs. Jordan. This is an honor. I am actually the CEO and the founder of Miracle Mind Global. And I'm also an entrepreneur and author, quite a few things that I do with Miracle Mind Global. And what Miracle Mind Global does is we focus on educating individuals about how the mind works. Miracle Mind Global is an entity that provides services and resources and education, as I stated, about the mind, because in everything we do, we are to get an understanding. So we have different departments, we have different needs that we cater to, the individuals have. And so, we have corporations, we deal with families as well. And so what we really do is we break down the science and we include the spiritual perspective so that, again, people can understand how the mind functions, because everything starts with the mind. And also educating so that they can sharpen their mind and focus on what really matters, their purpose. A lot of people don't know what their purpose is. So whether you're looking to focus on transforming your life, accomplishing your goals, when it comes to business. And so we want people to have a clear understanding. And so, we have educational mindset programs as well. We have global programs because we are global. And we have ambassadors all over the world. We also want to make sure, again, people understand how the mind functions, and we break it down. And when we have our mindset classes, we normally give them slides to see, because a lot of people are visual. And it's just like any other part of your body. Like if you have a physical ailment, if you have a broken body, the doctor is going to give you an x-ray and let you see where that broken bone is. And if you have any other type of disease, they're going to give you also not just the diagnosis, but the prognosis. But when it comes to the mind, many people go to a psychiatrist, psychologist, they have assessments, ask questions, and they're given medication, but they come back with the same thing. Have to have the reassessment done every 30 days, but don't understand why they're waking up with the same problem. So what we do is we get to the root of it. And again, we include the spiritual perspective because it's so important that, we do that. And so we have US global tours as well, but we really haven't done many due to the COVID. We have community mindset projects within the community. We're getting ready to do another mindset class with New Birth Missionary Baptist Church here in Atlanta under Pastor Jamar Bryant. And also community awareness sessions at the local libraries. And we do corporate training as well, and individual and family coaching. So this is just a little bit of what Miracle Mind Global does. This is what I facilitate.
I love it. Now, what would somebody need to do if they're, say they want to look into it more, and they say that this is something that they want to do? What should they do? Is there a certain website that they need to go to gather some information?
Yes, absolutely. What they would do is go to the main website, and that's www.miraclemindglobal.com.
Okay, awesome. That's excellent. I love it. So the next question that we have for you, and thank you for answering that question for us. Have you faced any challenges in your life, and how have you overcame those challenges?
I have. I wrote a book titled An Amazing Mind. And as I stated, I'm an author. And the challenge that I faced was when I lost my husband to suicide 13 years ago. And so my ministry was birthed out of that.
Wow.
It was a sacrifice. And so, I basically had to find out, okay, God, and ask questions. What is it that you want me to gain from this? What am I to learn from this?
That's it.
Because it was a tragedy for myself and my children, at the time. But again, it was a sacrifice. And many things that we do, it takes sacrifice to be able to accomplish, what we need to do. So that was something that I learned. And also giving back, if I can help one person understand how the mind works, It doesn't discriminate. It doesn't matter your social status. It doesn't matter, your gender, your color of your skin, because again, we're dealing with spirits here. This is something that a lot of the clinical professionals don't really want to talk about. They don't want to expound on. The church doesn't really want to talk about it.
Right.
But again, through my tragedy and through what you asked the question about, this is what I had to do.
That's
And so being obedient is the main key here. And so again, that's what basically what I've learned from what I went through, is to be able to give back so people can understand, because everything starts with our mind.
that's
And we're
certainly
living in
right.
days right now to where people are literally
Mhm.
just losing hope. They're giving up. Many people are depressed.
That's
You've got
true.
the COVID, and many people are losing their jobs, and increase and cost of living and everything
Absolutely.
overwhelming. So we want people to understand again how they can survive, and how they can think better, and when it comes to their mindset.
I love it. And what's would you say to somebody? Because I think about like Regina, the
Mhm.
actress Regina,
Yes.
and then
Mhm.
also I think about the mother with Chelsea. Beautiful young lady. Um, seem like everything is together.
Yes.
What would you say to somebody that, I guess what I would say, that's not paying attention? Not saying not so much paying to the attention to the signs, because a
Mhm.
lot of times people battle stuff silently and we don't
Right.
know that because I'm pretty sure the mom and everybody else that was around her didn't realize that she was dealing with something privately. So
Right.
what words of advice or encouragement would you give to somebody? What should they look out for?
Well, in my book, I have quite a bit of information, resources, a
Yes.
timeline as well, so people can educate themselves, because we miss it often, including myself. I
Yes,
miss it. And
absolutely.
so there are signs that we need to look for. And when you mention, the former Miss USA,
Yes.
again, we look at people from the outside and we
That's
think they
it.
have it going on, but
Yes,
really they don't. The ones that have more on their plate, the ones we think that are strong, the ones we look up to, those are the ones that we really need to pay attention to.
absolutely.
Because as again, speaking from experience, people thought we had it going on, beautiful
Yes,
family, your business, beautiful children, going to, church every Sunday. It didn't matter, and there was pain there.
absolutely.
So there were signs again that I wasn't aware of. And the signs that I tell people to look for is look for signs of wanting to be alone,
Mm,
signs of isolation, signs of anger, bursts of anger, suddenly, also mood swings. You're okay 1 minute and the next minute you're not.
mm,
So of course, if there's any type of mood swing, sometimes there's violence. And so the person that's going through that, they're struggling in their mind when they're depressed. And when it came to former Miss USA, she was dealing with high bouts of depression,
mm,
severe bouts of depression. So she didn't know how to deal with that. She didn't know how to talk about it because, again, of her reputation. And
absolutely.
nobody wants to talk about the mind because of the stigma
Yes,
that's attached to that. So when I tell people to look out for those, your loved ones. It doesn't matter who it is. Know that it's okay to talk about it. It's no different
absolutely.
from any other part of your body. With this type of illness, you cannot take an aspirin and expect to go away. You need someone to talk
Mm,
to, because many people hear voices. Many people, again, you may hear them talking to themselves. And some people say it's okay to talk to yourself. You can answer, but pay attention, because it may not be that simple. It may be something else going on that they're hiding. And a person that's going through that can only mask it for so long.
that's true.
Mhm.
That's true. And I love it because you took it a step further because you have a group where you have people come in. So do you
Yes,
want to tell us about the group that you formed as well?
yes. Well, we have the mask off Monday. Is that what you're pertaining to?
The
Yes,
mask on Monday and then Wednesday you also have something else.
right. Yes, we have the mask off every other Monday. And
Yes.
so we have individuals that come on, willingly and wanting to remove their mask of pain, of trauma, or whatever they're going through. And also with them removing that mask, there's transformation,
Yes.
because I'm a licensed mindset coach. And so we also have a transformational strategist that spiritually breaks things down, going back into your past and removing those barriers, because so many times individuals within families have the intergenerational trauma that they've never dealt with.
That's true.
And so you have to get to the root of it in order to deal with the situation. So that's what Mask Off Monday is about. And we encourage individuals to come on, and they feel so much lighter because they were able to talk to individuals. And this is really a session. This is a session that people pay hundreds for where they can get it for free on Mask Off Monday.
That's a blessing.
Yes, it is. It's a blessing, to be able to help individuals. And then on Wednesdays, we have one this Wednesday tonight at 8 o'clock, where we have the street doctors are in. And so I've collaborated with a celebrity coach out of New York City.
Oh,
So we're live here in Atlanta and live in New York City. And so it's a combination of a hotline. Miracle Mind Global has a 24-hour hotline that's available for individuals
that's pretty
as
cool.
well. Thank you. And then we also have the grief circle. So we have individuals that call in and if they want to talk about anything, it's a platform for that. And so we encourage people to do that. It's there, but many people don't take advantage of it because of the shame. And they feel like, well, I don't want anyone to know that there's something wrong. Well, it's something wrong in every household.
It is.
And
is.
so it's time to remove the mask. It really is. Because even professionals need professionals.
That's correct.
Even coaches need coaches. Yes.
That's true.
So it's okay. It's okay.
Now, what's the telephone number for the 24/7? The telephone number.
The 24/7 hotline number.
Yes.
Sure, I'm going to get that for you. And so we also are looking for individuals if they want to volunteer for the hotline. We welcome that as well. Anyone from any background, you don't have to have degrees, but the hotline number is 844-442-6463. That's 844-442-6463.
Thank you. And I just I commend you, first of all, because you didn't have to take the situation and turn it around, allow God to turn it around through you and become a blessing to many, because I think about, having conversations with you about your husband, God, it happened to your husband and everything, but God took the situation with your husband to be able to go worldwide with it. Like how you said, he was able to go globally with it. And
Yes.
A lot of the things, like how you said earlier, was birthed through all of what you went through. And
Right.
Sometimes people say our greatest destiny is where we find pain. That's the greatest destiny.
Yes.
So I commend you. We commend you.
Thank you.
For doing what
And thank you so much. I give God the glory because
Yeah.
I love waking up every day, being able to be a warrior for the Lord. I'm a soldier for God. And again, it was a sacrifice because actually my husband was tired. And another thing I want to add, because men don't talk.
No, they don't.
We don't have many men on the platform, and God created men to be the leaders. He
Yes,
created them to be the head. So we need men to step up. We need them to be able to come to the forefront and know that it's okay to talk, because how can you lead and communicate if you don't talk?
yes,
So, we can't read your mind. So in order to get help, or in order to get the support, and in order for us to follow, we need to know what's on the mind of the men.
yes.
And so that was something my husband didn't do. I was a person, they said the last person that he was going to reveal. The church, which was the mega church here
Right.
in Atlanta, passed the buck.
Mm.
And that individual bishop at the time was the one that did my husband's eulogy.
Wow.
And more people were saved at my husband's homegoing than at a normal service.
Wow. Something else. But like you said, it's definitely something that needs to be discussed.
Yes.
Because even like with our younger generation, they're hurting because they don't know what to do. And like you said, our men, they feel like, I don't know what they feel like, but they just feel like they can't just be honest with the way they feel. It's not going to make them any less of a man, them telling somebody how they feel.
Absolutely. You're right. And honestly, it makes them in the eyes of other people, when you
Yes.
come forward, regardless of your gender, especially as a man,
Yes.
it takes strength to do that.
It
And
does.
respect is there more so when you don't. And many men have been told from the time they were young, don't talk,
That's
man
it.
up, be strong, don't cry, but you're human.
That's it.
Okay. You're human first.
That's
And
it.
so again, we have to be able to talk. And it's so important. I hear a lot of women say, they just don't communicate. They go into their man cave. It's okay to do that. But
Yes.
the woman needs to be able to communicate.
Mhm.
Women are more emotional. Yes, women talk more, but we need responses. How can you come
Mhm.
together as a couple if you're not on the same page? How
That's
can
it.
you build if you're not on the same page? So we need men to step up, come to the table, and represent.
I love it. I
Mhm.
love it. Awesome platform that you have. And I love the fact that you share that platform on Facebook. And I know you're also on YouTube. You have YouTube channels as well.
Yes, I have YouTube channel.
Absolutely. Now,
Yes.
can you tell us about, because we know that you're an author, can you tell us
Yes.
about your book that you have out there as well, please?
Yes, the book is basically telling my story about living with my husband, who I didn't know at the time was diagnosed with schizophrenia because he hid it. He swept it under the rug. And so the book is titled An Amazing Mind, because we all have amazing minds.
We do.
And God does not give us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and of a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. And so that is the verse that's also on the front of the book,
I love
with
it.
the picture of the mind and a dove inside, because he wants us to have peace. And,
Yes.
and as believers, and if we've accepted Jesus Christ as our personal Lord and Savior, we have the power.
Mhm.
And so when people hear voices, I want them to know that you have the power to overcome any voices that you hear. When people talk to themselves and they say, I'm hearing voices, again, from a spiritual perspective, you're hearing spirits. And a lot of the clinical professionals don't want to hear that. But I have been told, I've been called to do this.
That's
And,
it. You have been. You really
so
have been.
I've been called to speak the truth about this.
That's
And,
right.
and that's what I do. Whether people, it's a choice, whether you believe it or not. I've witnessed it, I've lived it. And
Yes.
that's what's in my book. I have a timeline going all the way back to BC, before
Wow.
Christ, when
Wow.
mental illness, it was, and many in the Bible were suffering with mental illness.
That's
They tried many things, the lobotomy, drilling holes and putting people in mental institutions, 3x4 rooms and
that's
cells, and all they're seeing are white rooms, white walls. So,
right.
again, none of that worked. So what does that tell you? None of the physical things worked,
Mm.
even the medication now. And again, not negating that, but I told people it's a combination of things. You cannot do it without the spiritual perspective. God doesn't want you to leave him out of this.
No.
Yes. So
Yeah,
that's basically what my book is about.
I love it. And it can be found on Amazon,
Yes.
Amazon
Yeah.
dot com.
Amazon.com and also the website.
Okay, awesome. And tell us the website that would they'll know as well, please.
Sure. It's www.miraclemindglobal.com.
Right. Now,
Mhm.
just because I know you have kids, now,
Yes.
just for a parent perspective, what suggestions or recommendations would you make to somebody else that have kids
Mhm.
and may have like recently encountered the same similar situation? What would you like to leave with them today?
Yes. I mean, if you have children, and my kids at the time were just 5 and 6. And so I
Yes.
tell parents to pay attention.
Yes.
So many parents right now basically don't even have the strength to see about themselves. And so
Right.
they lose focus of their children. And this is what we need to do. We need to take back control of our home. We need to take back control of our household. Many parents are afraid of their own children.
Yeah, that's
You
not
cannot be afraid of the child that you brought into the world, regardless, to what they say or what the system says. Because if you don't take control and run your household, guess what? The system will.
that's
I
true.
tell individuals, look for the signs, because intergenerational trauma, meaning things that are on your maternal or paternal side of the family, which is what I found out with my husband. And I put that in there as well in the book, that it was on his maternal side. His
Wow.
mother who was a well-known pastor in Atlanta, was diagnosed
Oh, wow.
and also was institutionalized. And so her mother, so that's 3 generations.
Oh, my God.
And so I said, no, the buck stops here. It's not going to
No,
go
that's
into the
right.
4th generation.
I know
Okay.
that's right.
And so I had to break that.
Mhm.
And that is what I want to tell parents. Pay attention. It doesn't have to be on the second. It skips sometimes as well. Ask questions to the older people that are in the family. Some of them don't want to talk because they were told sweep it under the rug. Don't tell anyone.
That's
You
it.
know, you can't talk to anybody. But again, once we become knowledgeable, we have a responsibility to
Yes,
do
I
something
do.
about it. And a lot of times family members don't want to because they don't want to be labeled as that person within the family.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I really didn't care what they thought about me exposing the truth. I had an obligation and a
Absolutely.
responsibility to tell the truth. So I say, pay attention to the signs. If your children are reaching out to others, a lot of kids do this. They get into gangs because there's no attention at home.
That's true.
Love on your children, embrace your children. A
Mm.
lot of people haven't had a hug in over 2 years because of COVID,
That's
you
correct.
know, and you can't even see someone smile because of the mask.
Yes.
So I tell people, you know, it's a choice. Look at the signs and look at what's going around. Your faith level when it comes to removing your mask and hugging your child, they need that embracing. Because if not, you're going to go outside. Spend time with your children, whether it's 10 minutes or 15 minutes a day. Put your electronic device down, your phones, your pads. It is a sacrifice.
That's
Your
it.
children need your attention. You know, do a mother-daughter date, do a father-son date, vice versa. Take them out to their favorite restaurant. You know, they may be surprised. Some of them may also, you know, rebel in the beginning because they're not accustomed to it. But
Mhm.
don't give up. Continue, you know, because eventually they're going to give in because it's out of the norm for them if you have not been a parent, you know, to do that on a regular basis.
I love it. Great information. Thank you so much for sharing it.
You're
So the
welcome.
next question that we have rather, is what's the best things that came out of 2020 and 2021 for you personally and your business and also your family?
Well, the best thing that came out for me in 2020 and 2021 was basically, you know, being able to take the business to the next level.
Yes.
And of course, there were things that happened, challenges that occurred. But what I did was I continued to remain steadfast. And so, I mean, the best is yet to come.
It
And
is.
I'm looking forward to it because, again, it is about God getting the glory at the end of the day. And so, you know, with those 2 years, I was able to, again, see it grow
Yeah.
and to be able to hold it down, you know, is what really encouraged me to be able to reach out and to develop these platforms that I just spoke about. The Mask Off Monday
Yeah.
was also birthed in 2020.
What a blessing.
And thank you, and going on its second year,
Yeah.
which is the hotline is fairly new because we realized people needed help.
That's
You
it.
know, you can call other hotlines, but people don't have time to be put on hold. If you're having suicidal ideations, they want someone that they can connect with immediately.
Right
And
away.
so that's why God put into me to build a door. If they don't open the door, then you know, I feel like we need to build one. And so that's what I did for those 2 years, was to build doors for individuals to be able to walk through.
And you did it. Thank God you did
Amen.
it. Now, what are some things that people may not know about you?
Well, I mean, some things people don't know is that I love to have fun.
Yes.
You know, we all have other sides. Everyone does.
Yes.
And so I'm a very fun, comical person at home.
Yes.
And my kids are like, Mom, wow, they're always trying to film me, you know, when I'm not looking because they know people don't know that. And my daughters always say, Mama, people only knew, you
That's
know, that, you know, this is you. So yeah, I love to dance. I'm a very active person. I've always been that way.
yes.
And so I just love anything that's upbeat. You
Right.
know, I take it in. I don't like sad music. I don't like anything that's sad.
No.
I don't do any negativity. So
No, you
if it's
don't.
positive, you know, I'll take it on. I also skydive. People don't know that.
Oh, you skydive.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
So,
awesome.
so yes, I love challenges. I love, doing things that's different and
Yes,
exploring life.
yes.
Mhm.
And you know what I love about you? Because I watch you a lot on Facebook. You
Mhm.
have a lot of positive quotes.
Oh, thank you.
One of them that I saw that you had on there, you said, which is really awesome and true. It
Mhm.
says, everyone wants to ride with you in the limo, but
Mhm.
what you want is someone who will walk with you
Mhm.
when the limo, I believe it when the limo is broke down or when
Mhm.
it breaks down and everything. So that was
Right.
one of your quotes. But I love it because many people use platforms in different ways, but you're always depositing positive into
Oh, thank
somebody.
you.
And,
Yes.
and I
Yes.
thank you for doing that.
Oh, you're welcome. That is something that I carried on that mantle. My father was a philanthropist. I'm a
Okay.
philanthropist. I'm a giver,
Yeah,
and this is what people need. I think we were created to give,
absolutely.
because I thank God every day that I could have been born into another part of the world. We look at what's going over in Russia and Ukraine.
Yes.
So I thank God. I take nothing for granted. So
No.
if I can make someone else smile,
Yeah.
you know, it makes me smile.
That's it. And you do it. Like I said, I look forward to those messages every single day.
Thank you.
Now, the next question that we have is, how do you find balance in your life? How do you find balance? What do you do?
Well, sometimes it's not easy, but I have reminders. I have a volunteer assistant that helps me, and my kids, they help me as well.
Yes.
And also, I basically a lot of the way I was raised,
Yeah.
to prioritize.
Yeah.
And so that helps as well. I'm a person, I prioritize things and, put things into perspective when it comes to my responsibilities, being accountable,
Yes.
all of those things are I take to and put them together,
Yeah.
and so that's what helps keep me balanced. And so I just always have to remind myself that, I can't go up and down, even though I do have some days because I'm human. But I come back,
Absolutely.
I bounce back.
And you have to
I'm
bounce
not
back.
down for, yeah, I might be down for a minute, and that's just basically to regain my strength. But
Yes.
once I have refueled, then it's like, okay, watch out because I'm coming.
Great comeback. Greater
Yeah,
comeback.
greater comeback. So I mean, we have tests, we have trials,
Yes.
but I'm a thinker and I think positive, as you mentioned, giving positive information. So the
Yes.
positive thoughts that I entertain within myself,
Yes.
is what keeps me balanced. I'm always reminding myself, that I
Yes.
have to stay focused because I'm on a mission.
That's correct. And a lot of times, like even like what you endure with your husband and various other situations, we have to tell ourselves as women, and especially as like women of God, that
Hmm.
it's bigger than us. Just like
Right.
what you was carrying was
Hmm.
bigger than you. And
Yes,
so it's bigger than us.
it
And when
is.
we come to terminology and come to the point of grips in that, then that helps us to be able to go ahead and go further.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Because you was
Yes.
carrying all that. Like you said, you was carrying all that inside of you and it needed to be birthed. And you could have
Yes.
easily aborted it. It could have not
Mhm.
came to the 9 months and
Mm.
came out as healthy as it did.
Yes, that's powerful that you would say that.
Mm,
It
my hand
is.
is shaking just thinking about that. It is. All that came from that. From
Mhm.
like think about it when you had your baby, your son, your daughter,
Yes.
and when you put it in the hand, that the joy, you're able to see the joy
Yes.
from all your work. Yeah.
Amen. You're right. You're right. And years of, and like you mentioned, that was finally birth.
Yes.
And because it was not easy to be
No.
able to see and witness,
No.
a Black male entrepreneur
Yeah.
um, struggle,
Yeah.
in the mind
That's it.
because he was tired.
That's
And
it.
also he pulled on my strength because he knew,
Yeah.
I was at peace. I wasn't, of course, happy by how he left,
Right.
very disappointed
Right.
because we built an empire together. We had
Absolutely.
children together, and I took my marriage and my vows serious. So I
Absolutely.
was very disappointed in how he left me. But
Right.
on the other hand, I was at peace because he was able to accomplish many things that he wanted to accomplish.
Absolutely.
And I was, told by many people, many family members, why are you still there? Why don't you leave? And I said, well, no, because I would have been just like anyone else in his family. And
Absolutely.
I put that in my book, had I left him or abandoned him or rejected him.
That's
And
it.
he was rejected as a child. And many men can't deal with rejection
No.
coming up. So that's some of the things also that I share in the book. Tell women, if you have sons, don't reject them. Pay attention, because males respond different than girls.
They do.
Males, And so again, I didn't connect those dots, but um, God showed me afterwards. And I was like, well, when people would ask me, well, didn't you know? Didn't you see the signs? And I know I'm going in a different direction, but I feel led to share this
No,
part.
we need to hear it.
You know,
Yes. Mhm.
um, what didn't you see the signs? Didn't you hear it when it happened?
Mhm.
I didn't see the signs. I was so busy again, being the spouse, being the wife, being entrepreneur, building the business, to where I was always positive, and I was like, okay, on your bad days, everything's going to be fine. Tomorrow's going to be a better day.
Mhm.
And a man who started a business helping individuals with mental issues, I never thought in a million years that he was struggling, but that's
Mhm.
why he started the business, because he can understand. He
That's
had a corporate job. At the same time, I left my government job to assist him. And so I saw a bright red folder after he passed, looking for paperwork for the funeral home. And in that folder was his diagnosis of schizophrenia
oh wow.
and high functioning depression. And so I didn't know, he didn't share, again, because men don't talk, they
Of
mask it. And
course.
he did mask it very well.
Mhm.
I didn't see any signs on his bad days. Of course, a lot of marriages have, bad days.
Absolutely.
And so on his good days, it was the perfect husband. So I didn't dwell on the negative. I focused on the positive.
Absolutely.
And yes, and so of course he was supposed to have been on medication, but he was an entrepreneur. He was a go-getter. He was a workaholic, and most people like that, they don't want to be kept in a state of lockdown, because that's what the medication does for many people. And he self-medicated, which I'm not ashamed to share. That's in my book as well.
Right.
Many people may self-medicate, whether it's
Yes.
alcohol, whether it's drugs. My husband chose marijuana,
That's
you
it.
know. And so coming out of the parking lot of one of the largest mega churches in Atlanta, my
Mhm.
husband would light up a joint. And I'm being transparent here because it happens.
We need to hear
know,
it, like you
This is
said.
real. Some
Mhm.
people might have a beer in their car as soon as they come
That's
out of the
it.
church. Some people might have a bottle of scotch in their car,
That's
because
true.
they're still dealing with that pain that was not taken care of in church. Okay, they're
True.
taking luggage and they're bringing the luggage back home. And that's what I witnessed with my husband every Sunday.
Mhm.
And so he was tired. He was trained as a child. This is where you go, because he was raised up in that church. Again, not in that church, but in church,
Period.
because his mother was a pastor. But
Mhm.
again, we're living in times where now we need to really clean up. There's a lot of work, and we have a responsibility. So um, that's basically part of my story. He was masking,
Mhm.
and he was tired. You can only mask for so long. No, I didn't
It's true.
connect the dots. No, I didn't hear when the gun went off, because I wasn't in the house.
Mhm.
God pulled me out to wait for him in the car,
Right.
even though he told many he was going to kill me.
Mhm.
But God kept me here for a reason.
Man,
And the reason is what I'm doing right now.
that's it.
Mhm.
Like you said a minute ago, it was bigger. It was
Yes,
bigger.
it was
And
bigger.
I think of you too when I think of the song, God Kept Me and
Mhm.
He Wouldn't Let Go.
Wow.
And then another song that I thought about with you is, I think it's Marriott Clark, if I'm not mistaken, or
Mhm.
Brown Clark. And she
Okay.
sings the song, It's Not Over Until
Okay.
God Says It's
It's
Over.
over. Yes.
And
Amen.
I see that in everything you said. And I appreciate you being transparent, because like you said, that's the problem. We're not being transparent. We're
Wow.
putting things up under the rug, and then families are hurting, kids are hurting,
Mhm.
the wife is hurting, the husband is hurting. And like you said, it is something that needs to be addressed.
It needs to be addressed, because I didn't know how to address that. I mean,
Mhm.
again, I was hiding by not, sharing what was going on,
Yeah,
because I'm trying to keep everything going and not knowing why my husband is smoking, marijuana, because in his mind, it was calming him down.
Right.
But after doing my research, it causes a lot of people to be paranoid. It affects different people in different
It
ways,
certainly does.
but he was using it as, again, as a crutch instead of actually doing something about it. So it was all a part of God's plan at the end of the
Absolutely.
day. And I just want people to just know that it's okay. Know that it's okay. Just like you go to your physical doctor, you schedule an appointment.
Mm,
If you're not feeling well and they ask you what's wrong, they can't help you if you don't tell them.
that's
And the
true.
same goes with your mind. It does not mean that you're less than anyone. None of it. It means that you're stronger because you want to talk about it.
Right.
And you can't heal what you don't reveal.
That's true. Yeah. And then,
Yes.
like how you said, they don't have to battle these battles by themselves. There's
No,
help out there for you.
there's help out there. Absolutely.
I love it. Now, who's been your greatest motivator?
My greatest motivator, well, I always give God the glory for everything. I put
Absolutely.
God in front of
Yes.
everything. And my greatest motivator, my inspirator, were my parents, my father, my mother. My mother is still living. She's 91.
Oh,
And
91. What a
yes,
blessing.
yes, it is a blessing. And so basically, she inspires me every day. We talk, not every day, every other day. Again, as I stated, my father, who passed, and he lived a long life as well. And
Okay.
he was an educator, a philanthropist, and involved in the community. Also, had his PhD in mental health, well,
Oh,
psychiatrist.
that's
So again, I
good.
didn't know that that was also part of me carrying on,
That's it.
the
Carrying the
same,
torch.
carrying the torch, right?
Yes.
And so my father always said, "Know who you are."
Yeah.
Every day he would tell us, "Know who you are," before we walked out, before we got on the school bus, "Know who you are." And so
What a
this is what I
blessing.
tell people: know who you are, because God wants you to know who you are. Many people don't know. And in
That's
order to
true.
define your purpose, you have to know who you are.
That's true.
So, my family, my parents, have always been my greatest motivators, and as well as, my children,
Yes.
who see what I do and always pushing me. Mhm.
And I know your son is an entrepreneur himself, right?
Yes, my son is an entrepreneur, and all of my children. Actually, I have four. I have two older daughters as well, from a
Okay.
previous marriage.
Okay.
And so, but the last two, they are entrepreneurs, and he just turned 20,
Oh,
and
wow.
they're both in
20.
college. Yes, 19 and 20. They're 13
Oh,
years apart, months apart. And so I instill in them to have your own, to be prepared, and to build, because you can't depend on anyone, but of course, God and yourself. And the way
absolutely.
things are going, I encourage parents, everyone has a gift. So God wants you to be able to define your gift. That is
Yeah.
what we're supposed to be doing. We weren't created to work for others. We were
No.
created to
Mm,
define our gift, and to build and grow off of that, and to help others through what God has called us to do. So yes, I'm proud of him. He, again, I've had to put that in front of him, be the father and the mother.
that's
And
it.
when you can't do both, well, I had no choice. I had to be a tough mother, because
I'm pretty sure.
I was really, really destined to
Yes.
say he was not going to be a statistic. I
That's
was
it.
determined that he was
Absolutely.
not going to be a statistic.
Right. What a
And
blessing.
yes, and so at the time of my husband's death, I mean, my mother was there, and she said the first thing I said was, "Why did you let the devil win?" But in actuality, he did not win.
No.
And so I said, "You know
No.
what? It's on. It's on now." And
That's it.
it has been on.
And see, God knew that you was going to take it on that way too.
Oh yeah. And I think my husband did too.
He
Yes.
knew it. It wasn't over. Like I said earlier, it ain't over
Oh
until God
no.
says over, and
Until
it's
God
not
says it.
over.
And that's what motivates me, because I
Right.
said many people don't have a voice.
Yes,
They don't have a voice. And so I'm a voice for the voiceless. And
absolutely.
so that's just how I think I am wired. If someone can't stand up or speak, then we were created. The stronger ones were created to help the weaker ones. And I also was raised that way,
That's
you
it.
know. And so I also thank God for the parents that He allowed to raise me, God brought me into the world. He knew me when I was in my mother's womb, but he
Absolutely.
also put me in the hands of wonderful parents,
Yes.
so that I would be able to take this back into the world. And so I'm just so thankful.
That's it. And like you said, the many lives you're saving, by the grace of God, He's allowing you to save many lives, and He's centering people around you that are the same way. They want to be able to save people from being able to go through the different changes and everything.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you once again.
Oh, you're welcome, and thank you.
You're welcome. Now, is there anything else that you would like to mention at this time? Please?
No, I just, have given the information how people can get in touch with Miracle Mind Global. They can also, on social media and the platforms, take advantage of those platforms. We also have groups, as you are aware, the Ladies Leading Legacies.
Yeah.
Miracle Mind Global has 7 platforms on Facebook.
Oh, 7.
And so, yes, 7. And so the main one that we started, I think like 3 years ago, was understanding your mind and subconscious mind. We
Okay.
have over 1,000 members on there, and they're global,
Pretty good.
all over the world. And so they each represent something. And on that particular group, we educate individuals about how the mind works. You, of course, have the mind, you have the brain.
Yes.
Brain is the physical part, but the mind is what we educate people on, because we want you to know, where does anger come from? Why are you sad? Why are you depressed? Whatever is coming from your brain, which is the motor, you can't function without that. You have to have a sound mind, and God wants you to. So that is one of the groups. And we have the Men of Mighty Valor for the men.
Okay.
For men because God wants our men to reunite, reposition, and rebuild. Same with the women. Ladies Leading Legacies. What kind of legacy are you building? Are you leaving? It doesn't have to be money. It could be your reputation.
Absolutely.
So we want women to come together, empower one another, and that's what that is about. We have the generational master mindset for the younger generation, as they say, the millennials.
That's it.
Because they feel left behind. So there's also a platform for them.
Awesome.
And then we have the Mindex method for finances. There are a lot of people who have money blockages. You can have $1 million, but you don't know how to manage your money. You don't know how to invest. So we educate individuals on how to master their money. And then we have the spiritual warfare group, which is for the spiritual perspective of the warfare, how the enemy attacks your mind. And then last but not least, we have the transforming your transforming your world network, because, there are different steps. And so people, after understanding how the mind works, they want to transform.
Yeah.
You want to transform who you are. And so we have individuals that run some of those groups. And we encourage individuals, if you have a gift or a specialty or interest in any of them, the platforms are just there, for people that want to take interest. God just gave me the vision to provide them. We're looking for individuals to come on board and say, okay, I would love to be an ambassador. I would like to be, someone to oversee this group, an admin. Come on there, make comments. If you're in the group, you may have something in your heart you might want to share for the day. You may have something that you've experienced that you want to share, and that can help others as well.
I love it.
Oh, that's and I forgot one.
You're fine.
The mindful meals, nutrition, and wellness, because what we eat, what we consume, also affects how we think.
It does.
That was the last one.
Yeah, it does. It really does. You're right about that.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's awesome. Now, what's the best way for our audience to get in touch with you? What's the best way?
Absolutely. I mean, they can visit the website, www.miraclemindglobal.com, or they can email me at miraclemindglobal@gmail.com, or they can also give us a call, and that number is 678-580-0672. That's 678-580-0672.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. It's definitely been a pleasure being here with you, Dr. Lena Clark. You have truly made our day. I know our audience they're gonna just love everything you had to say today, and they're gonna be able to take it and be able to use it, definitely be able to use it. So I thank you for being transparent with us. I thank you for the platform that God has blessed you with. And like we mentioned earlier today, you will be on a Triumphant Magazine special edition because what you are a woman of worth. And as we can see, everything you explained to us today shows that. So we just say thank you for being the woman, the amazing woman that you are. And
Thank
we
you.
look forward to getting back with you again. And thank you so much for joining the Triumphant Magazine show today. So
You're
many
welcome.
blessings to you. May God continue to bless you and keep you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Take care.
All
Bye-bye.
right. You too. Bye-bye.